Hey guys, I wanted to make a video about my appointment yesterday at the doctor's office, with the cardiologist, and I really hope y'all can hear me, um, over the traffic in the background down that way. Yeah, I had my 2-week follow-up yesterday with the cardiologist, and, going into the appointment, I had decided I was going to, agree to the pacemaker, but at the same time, I really hope it doesn't start storming. But I was going to kind of put some stipulations upon it, sort of. I had decided that the heart monitor results were going to be very important. Very important indeed, because I was going to agree to the pacemaker no matter what they said, but if my heart rate was 35 or lower, then I was going to agree. As soon as he wanted to put a pacemaker in me, we could do it. And if it was 36 or higher, then I wanted to go to Baptist and talk to my EP there. And a lot of people don't quite understand why I wanted to do that, but the doctor who wants to do it in town is only temporary, so I still need an EP to follow me once he's gone. Like, the doctor here is an EP, but I'm still going to need one to follow me after. So, I wanted to go down there and talk to him more about it as well, but I kind of, between me and the nurses at the hospital, we pretty much talked about a lot of what was going on, and we decided that, while heart rate in the upper 30s isn't good, I've definitely had it for a while now, and anything under 35 is dangerously low for just about anything. So, or just about anyone. So yeah, that was kind of how that was gonna go. So when I got to the appointment, I had prepared myself for all this, and he came in, and he had a prescription like ready. He hadn't quite all the way filled it out, but he definitely had my name and all that on there, and I was just like, whoa, okay, because last time I had seen him, he said he wasn't going to give me medicines, and whoever did was crazy. But it was kind of decided that I needed medicines after all, and I don't have my graft or anything because I'm outside. But basically what was shown was that my heart rates drop about 9 o'clock at night, between 8 and 9. They start dropping, and about 7 or 8 in the morning is when they start increasing again. And so at night they were hanging out in the 30s and 40s, but during the day I am well above 100 most of the time. There was a few instances in which my heart rate would drop into like a normal rate, or sometimes a little lower, but they're very rare in occurrence. And the only time I went bradycardic at all during the day was when I passed out, and my heart rate had gone from the 180s to the 40s, but then it jumped back up into the 100s. But I did have like that little drop right there. So right now the plan of action is that, sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable in this like metal chair here. Plan of action is that I am going to start taking medicines for the high heart rates. He doesn't want to endure any more damage if possible, but I have so many essentially limits to being able to take them. I have to, my heart rate can't be below a certain point. My blood pressure can't be below a certain point. If I start passing out more after I start taking it, my blood pressure drops too much, or I notice my heart rate drops, or I start getting dizzy, or any of that, I can't take it. And so really there's more rules to being able to take it than at sometimes would be worth it. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the way he had written it, I have taken it before. It's propranolol. It's the medicine that he wants me to take, and I have taken it before. Last time I took it, I can't remember if that's what they had me on in December for a short time or not, but the only time that I really recall taking it was August of 2010. They put me on it when I was discharged from the hospital because when I was there my heart rate spiked, and they didn't want me to spike the way I did because I spiked over 100 beats. And so what had happened was a couple days later I ended up in the ER, but my blood pressure was through the roof and my heart rate was like 35, and it was interesting. They didn't think it had to do with the beta blocker at all, actually, especially since my heart rate had been in the 30s the entire time I was in the hospital, only a few days later. So we're not sure if it actually dropped my heart rate or not. But at that time I was on 40 milligrams of it, and yesterday he wrote the prescription for 10 milligrams, and then this morning he called me back and he only wants me to take 5 milligrams. But I can take 1 dose in the mornings when I wake up, and then if in 4 hours later I'm still having like the severe tachycardia, I can take a second dose, but I'm not allowed more than 10 milligrams a day. And he prescribed the propranolol because it is a short-acting medicine, so I can't take it after like 5 or 6. It's the latest dose I can have if I know I'm going to do something. So like Thursdays and Fridays when I'm working until 10 o'clock, I'm allowed to take it. But otherwise, on a normal day, I obviously would not take it, because usually I'm going to bed about that time, and sleeping is when I'm the most bradycardic. So the heart monitor results. The lowest I got was pretty daggone low, I must admit, but I dropped to 29 at my lowest, and it was only for a few seconds, but let alone, I was still considered severely bradycardic, and that's one of his concerns about being able to take medicines late in the evening. The highest I got was 194, and I can't remember what I was doing at that point. I think I was tutoring or something to that effect. I think it was the morning I was tutoring, and it was just bad. But yeah, so because I got so high, he definitely wants the medicines, and during the day I was so high, and he said it's not worth the damage that I'm doing to wait. The pacemaker is not out of options right now. He didn't really mention it as in we have to do it now type thing yesterday. He wants to run more tests to see why I dropped so low at night. He did question if I'd ever been tested for like sleep apnea or anything, or if I'd had a sleep study, which I have had a sleep study. It's been several years, and it didn't show anything but the PLMD. So he said he was going to, go back and look at all the tests and everything I've had, and that he wanted to run a couple more tests, or redo some tests in the process. He knows I go to Winston in a month, and he wants me to definitely talk to him. He does want me to have an EP study possible at Baptist. So he was going to call down there and talk to him, and wanted me to talk to him when I go on the 17th. And he's going to start looking at what kind of tests and stuff we need to start redoing in Boone, and whether or not I need to go down the mountain to have certain tests done. I think he wants to redo like a tilt test and stuff like that. So, but I'm not entirely sure. He's still working on it as well, trying to figure out everything he wants. He said, you know, as he starts doing things, he'll start calling me more when he gets more of the testing he wants to redo and everything. And I do trust that he will, because he definitely called me this morning, and not the nurse, but him, to do that. So, and he also said that he would be checking in on me while he sees me working at the hospital and stuff like that. So, that I don't believe he'll ignore, because he's definitely, I think every time he's seen me at the hospital, he's said something to me at least. And the nurses have pretty much been the one they're like, well, he likes you, go talk to him about something, especially if we have like questions about rhythms and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm saying a lot, and it's driving me crazy. But yeah, I do go back to see him. I think it's like 6 to 8 weeks. It's the beginning of May. So that's interesting, because he was just like, I want to see you like 2 weeks after you go to Baptist. And I'm like, oh my gosh, am I the only kid who has to have like cardiology appointments every 4 to 6 weeks? Because that's what it feels like. Which I guess it kind of is, because I had one 2 weeks ago, I had one yesterday, I have one in 4 weeks, and then I go see him 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later, something like that. So, but yeah, I think I made this video quicker than the last like 3. So I did not take the medicine this morning, because I woke up at like 12, and I knew I wasn't really going to do anything, so I didn't want to chance it. So we'll see how that goes. But I thought it was interesting, because yesterday morning my blood pressure was so high. So high it was making me nauseous and puking, and it was a mess. And I came outside and it was like 74 degrees, and on my way to the doctor's appointment, and I was like, oh, I feel worse. You know, I was really lightheaded, and I was getting really dizzy, and just standing was getting really, really hard. And so I kind of knew my blood pressure was bottoming out in the process of going to the doctor. So that was a ton of fun, but it's all good. Today's pretty warm, so I wasn't really planning on going anywhere. I made it about that far from the house, and I was done. So anyway, I will end this video, and I hope that everyone is doing well, and I will talk to y'all later.